Welcome to today's webinar. My name is Josh. I'm going to be your presenter today. Most of you have opened 2025 and may be working in the new year and hopefully have. I mean, here we are, right? We're in mid-February. Everybody should have 2025 open and be working with it. Even if you're still working in 2024, that's fine. You can still work between the 2 years of 2024 and 2025 as long as you need or want, okay? Some of you may be finishing up, may have finished up 2024, but if you're not finished up in 2024, that's fine, okay? It's important to know this because, again, it's the software is flexible enough to permit you to work between the two accounting years as long as you need or want, okay? It's fine to work in both years, but we're really trying to reinforce this topic of updating beginning balances. I'm covering some other things later on in the webinar too, but we're starting with updating of the beginning balances because it is one of the most common problems we hear out in support in the first 2 or 3 months of the year. In fact, I'm going to explain it now as it pertains to what we're hearing in support at this very moment because everybody's trying to reconcile their January bank statements with their church windows accounting for January of 2025, and their folks are having trouble with that, okay? So here I am in 24, and if I go back up to special functions, manage years, change to another existing accounting year, I'm going to come back into 25. Here I am, okay? You may have reconciled December of 2024 successfully to 0, but now you're having trouble reconciling January of 2025. More than likely, the beginning balances for 2025 have not been updated, okay? If you copied the chart of accounts from the 2024 year into 2025, you can look at the balance sheet and compare the ending balances for the prior year to the beginning balances for the new year and see if they have the same balances, okay? I can do that all from 25. So all I do is go up to Reports and Export Financial Balance Sheet, right? So here, then up in the upper left corner, I choose the year of 2024 from the menu, and I'm going to run that as of December 31st of 2024, and I'm going to click Print, okay? So the report now opens, and it reveals let me bring my balance sheet over here so we can see it. So it brings over, and it shows that I have total asset ending balance of $1,943,924 in assets and liabilities and fund balance. Okay, that should be the balance now that I see to start 2025. Okay, so I would print this report. All right, so I have it something to visibly compare it to. Then we're going to close out, and I'm going to change my year back to 2025 for the balance sheet. You want to go to the columns tab, and you want to add the column called beginning balance over to the visible columns list on the right. Right here, we see that on mine. If yours is not on the list on the right, you want to find it under your available columns on the left and add it over to the list on the right, okay? The beginning balance column for church windows is always the starting balance for midnight at that year, on that year, in this case 25. A lot of folks go, oh, well, don't I have to change it back to January? Absolutely not, because the period doesn't matter. The beginning balance column always is January 1 or whatever the start of your accounting year is, at midnight, okay? So now that I know I've got beginning balance selected, I've got 2025, I simply click Print. Here we notice I've got $1,946,376 for my beginning balances. So what that tells me is I must update my beginning balances for 2025 because they do not show the same balances. All right, so basically these totals are 1 second apart. All right, my year-to-date balance on 24 is 11:59 and 59 seconds on December 31st. My beginning balances here under my balance sheet for 25 are at midnight on January 1. So they are 1 second apart, and they need to have the same balances. So I'm going to close out, and I'm going to close out to my main screen. I'm verifying that I'm in my 2025 accounting year. I'm now going to go up to Special Functions, Manage Years, Update Beginning Balances from Prior Accounting Year Ending Balances. It's going to ask me to confirm, am I sure I want to update my balances for 25 from 24? The answer to that now is yes. Okay. It now then says they've been updated successfully. So now if I go in and look at my balance sheet for 2025, including my beginning balances, again, the period doesn't matter. My columns show beginning balance. I go to print. It now shows my 1,943,924.03 total that I have on December 31st on my balance sheet. Okay, so folks, that is how simple it is to verify whether your beginning balances, ending balances for the 1 year and your beginning balances for the next year are matching and updated. They need to balance, okay? They need to match, okay? And honestly, if you don't want to go through all the gyrations of printing the balance sheet for December 31st and then running the balance sheet to include beginning balances for the new year, just update them. Okay, just go in. Make sure you're in the new year. Go right into and once you're there, just go up and update the beginning balances. All it's going to do is double check and make sure that the balances are brought forward correctly. It's not going to manufacture balances or anything. Okay, it's just going to double check that they are updated and that they are matching for the end of the prior year. Okay. Like I said, I mean, since the beginning of January, I've probably done 3 or 4 or 5 updating of beginning balances every day for folks who are trying to reconcile January's bank statement in 25 to their bank, with Church Windows, and they can't reconcile. I go in, I walk through updating their beginning balances. They definitely were reconciled in December, and boom, the software is reconciled for January. Okay, so go ahead and update those beginning balances. Check them, check the balance sheets if you want, okay? And by all means, if you want to verify whether they are or they're not. But if you copied your chart of accounts from 24 into 25, you must make sure these balances match, okay? If you don't, then 1, you may not reconcile, and 2, an auditor's going to, if your books are getting audited for 24, an auditor's going to go, well, wait, why do these balances from the end of 1 year not match the beginning balances of the next? Okay. If you are not done in 24 and you go back into 24 and post transactions next week, or corrections or reversals or what have you, okay, post new entries, you have to come into 25 and update those beginning balances. Okay, the software will not update them for you. Okay, it's not an automated function. It's what I call a user-driven function. All right. Let me make sure I'm checking my notes here real quick. Yeah, user-driven function. It is the function that allows you to work between 2 accounting years, as long as you need or want. Okay, just make sure to either look at those 2 balance sheets for both years to see if they balance, or simply update them. It simply doesn't hurt to do it. The only time you would not update your 2025 beginning balances, okay, from 24, is if you set up a brand new chart of accounts for 2025. Basically, if the church was establishing a line in time between, oh boy, our books were really messed up through the end of 24, we want to start off with a clean, fresh slate to start off fresh and clean and with a clean set of books in 25, 2 completely different charts of accounts. There's no connection between them. You don't want the balances from your prior year's books to carry forward. That is the only time you will not update your beginning balances. Okay? So I know we spent the first 10 or 12 minutes talking about that, but we are really reinforcing how important beginning balances are for Church Windows in the new year. Okay, so sorry, I'm not apologizing. It's really important that you understand how important beginning balances are to the successful use of accounting. Okay, so that's the first thing. That's the first check-up step that we're wanting to verify, because we get a lot of calls where in 25 that simply updating beginning balances will fix. Okay. Second, if we go back into our reports and our balance sheet, say for 24, again, notice I'm not changing my year in accounting. I'm simply choosing it from the menu in the report. Is there a balance under accounts payable? Okay, right here under accounts payable, I've got a balance to end 2024 of $424.57. Okay, is that a balance that's expected or not? Okay, if it is, that's fine. Meaning, basically, maybe you have bills that are entered in 2024 that aren't paid until January of 2025 or in the new year. Great. Okay. Same thing would be true for any of the liabilities. I would expect my maybe December taxes for 941 federal taxes in the state and local, maybe any payroll deductions to be able to show as outstanding into January. Okay. But if there's a balance under accounts payable or any of these accounts that you're not expecting, you've got to investigate that. Okay. They need to be investigated and looked into why they're there. Okay. We're not going to cover that topic in detail today. That's not what its purpose is. But what I am going to show you is if you're unsure, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about some other things regarding that, is back at our website under customer support and under the resource center, and I'm going to refer to this a couple times today, okay, is outstanding bills listed. All right, so if I come down here and I type in outstanding, so down here I've got accounting, review outstanding bills, and vendors with a balance. There is both a document, folks, and a video, documents and a video on dealing with outstanding bills and vendors with a balance at the end of the year. Right here, review outstanding bills document, PDF, review vendors with a balance PDF, and then the video that I did, I think, I don't know when I did that. It was, back in July of last year, okay? Review this. And again, where this is becoming really vitally important and question is when I go to pay bills, right here, I'm still in 25, right? I go into pay bills, I go right up here to quick pay and view outstanding bills. Here I've got two bills from 2024 that are outstanding, okay? So I've got to go back into 2024 and look at that and figure out why I've got a $78.90 bill outstanding for my Chase Bank Visa and for my City Florist account, okay? If those are not there to be expected, I've got to figure that out, all right? And also that's true. Now there's the view, again, quick pay and view vendors with a balance list here. Here are these ones that, like, for my payroll taxes for 941 and city and county, and some of my pass-through monies, disaster relief, even my mortgage. Okay, those I would expect to have outstanding, and those don't concern me too terribly much. Okay, but if there's a balance in a vendor here that you don't know or why it's there or you don't think it is, you've got to figure that out. And looking at those documents and videos under the view outstanding bills that I showed you from the website will help you resolve that, okay? One of the things that's new in 2020, in Church Windows version 26, let me go back to the home screen here, right here, version 26, in the upper, let me get out my highlighter here and draw some focus. Right at the home screen, well, I was at the home screen. It said Church Windows version 26 there, and that is the version of some of you, we're sending that out to our membership and donations customers next week. But for those of you that are in accounting and payroll, you should have that version, okay? But if this is important because this is applied in this version 26, okay? While Church Windows does have a hard close function, and what I mean by that is if I go to Special Functions, Manage Years, and Close Accounting Year, okay, there is a hard close function. It's not a requirement of the software to use it. It is simply an option that is available to our users and our customers, okay? You do not need or are not required by the Church Windows program to close any accounting year whatsoever. Okay, it is there if you choose to do it, use it, but it is not required. But here's what I can say with complete certainty. In version 26 we have prevented, you cannot close an accounting year if you have an outstanding bill that is not dealt with. Okay, so if I go up here to close accounting year and I choose 2024, and notice it says some red things here, you will not be able to add or change accounts, budgets, or transactions after a year is closed. That's its point or purpose. This step is not required as part of the ending a year in accounting, and we do not recommend that you close any accounting year until after an audit of that year has been completed. Those are just our recommendations. But if I now attempt to close 2024, it says, there are unpaid bills in the year of January through December 24, and it even refers me to those transactions, and it happens to be those two bills that I have that are outstanding when my view outstanding bills list. Okay, this is new in version 26. Okay, the reason why we've done this is because users would close accounting years, and it makes, and once the year is closed, I can't go back in and mark the bill as paid. Okay, I can certainly post a payment in the new year or in the next year to be able to clear that out, but it's clunky and cumbersome. Okay, so we're trying to help you ensure that you have all your ducks in a row before the software will permit you to close your year. Okay, and I know some folks may go, well, I do have a bill that I've got in December that I don't want, I'm not going to pay until January or February or March of 2025, but I still want to close my year. Well, I'm sorry, folks, the software doesn't permit that. Once you go in and you post that payment and that bill is marked as paid and it no longer shows up in my view outstanding bills list, then you can go in and close the year. Okay? We're not saying you can't close the year. We're just saying you can't close it until after that bill is marked as paid. Okay? And I'm getting a good question that came in right now. This is topical at this point. No, you cannot reopen a closed year, folks. Okay, that was the question. Can you open a closed year? No, you simply cannot. You can close an accounting year at any time. So I can, if I want to close 25, I can do that in September of 25 if I want. Just don't be in any hurry to close an accounting year. And as our documentation or our input on that close year function said, it is strongly recommended you not close a year until after an audit has been completed. Okay? Again, folks, revisit that View Outstanding Bills document and video out on the Resource Center page for help understanding why there are unpaid bills. Okay? Maybe they just simply need to be marked as paid. The document and the video covers that. We're not covering that today. Because again, we've got the video and document out there. Okay. Okay. So let's see. Oh, we're about 21 after the minute now after that. So there's one final thing I want to cover here before, a couple of things I want to cover, quick things before we wrap things up and get to our questions on this. Okay. It's fairly new. We're still fairly close to the opening, early in 2025. And folks, you may want to look at cleaning up your chart of accounts. Okay. We're all about the audit trail. Okay. But you can change account names and account numbers at any time. The only thing you may not be able to do is delete accounts. If there's transactions or postings to accounts, you're stuck with that account. You can inactivate it, but you cannot delete it. Same is true if there is a balance or any transactions of any kind. But you can go into the chart of accounts in 25 and I can edit the account name, and you can edit the account name or account number for any account you want in the chart of accounts. Doesn't matter when it is. Okay, that changing account names and account numbers in your chart of accounts is permissible at any time. Don't have to wait for the change of year to do so. Okay, changing account numbers and account names does not disconnect them from those same accounts with a different name or number in a prior year. Okay, They're still tied together. So you can change them here. You can go to the Tree View tab. You can right-click over an account and choose Edit. You can change names or numbers. You just may not be able to delete it. Okay? We also have it's one of the most commonly misunderstood things is under Special Functions, Manage Years, delete unused accounts. Okay? If I delete accounts from 2025, those accounts are still in my chart of accounts for 2024. If you use the previous year column on, say, something like your treasurer's report, then you really want to make sure you're paying close attention as to what income and expenses you're deleting. But the delete unused accounts or cleaning up the chart of accounts on an annual basis is one of the most commonly overlooked steps that I find in my 20 plus years of experience doing this, okay? Again, the software will not let you delete an account that has any audit history in 25 or 24 for that matter. If, again, we go back to our website and we go right back to our Resource Center page and I do Manage, and here it is, Managing Accounting Managed Years. This is a video I did back in December of last year that talks about everything that's under that Managed Years window, including deleting unused accounts, delete accounting years, changing to a fiscal year or to a non-calendar accounting year. Okay, might be worthwhile taking a look at that video and looking at how to delete or closing accounting years. Updating account details from one accounting year to the next. Okay. But there are lots of things you can do even in 25 now, even 6 weeks or a month and a half into the new year, that you can do that maybe you were considering that you may think you could not do, but you still can because the software is flexible enough to do that. Okay? All right, so visit those resources, folks, on the website. With about 5 minutes left before our half hour is up here, that is where I'm going to leave things for the CheckUp webinar today.